It's the sound of summer.
That's just a pain in the neck, basically.
Millions of Americans do it every weekend.
I mean, it's crazy.
Crazy or not, they spend a good chunk of their time and money, billions of dollars every year, working their patch of grass as if it were sacred ground. Fertilizing, trimming, mowing, again and again, working furiously for their vision of the perfect lawn.
Your lawn is your face. It is your face to the community, and it has to look good. If it doesn't look good, then there must be something wrong.
But a green revolution may be on the way, one that turns that front yard into the front line in the battle over genetic modification. In as little as 3 years, genetically altered grass could hit the market. Grass that grows slowly and needs less mowing. It's called Lomo.
It will give you beautifully green grass and reduce your maintenance time. It will probably result in the need for less water, for less chemical input such as fertilizers or herbicides.
Scotts, the world's biggest maker of lawn products, is developing Lomo right now in Marysville, Ohio. It begins with one cell. A gene is injected into that cell, which slows growth. The cell is nurtured here in what's called the grow room. With the right light, temperature, and nutrients, it grows into what looks like ordinary grass. It's not.
What we've done is we've introduced a gene that reduces the growth hormone that the plant uses to determine the rate at which it expands. This plant has less of that expanding hormone or gibberellic acid than the plant that you see over here on my left.
Scotts has a greenhouse stocked with genetically altered grass, rows of the stuff. Creeping bentgrass, Kentucky blue, some of it Lomo, some of it herbicide resistant. Genetically altered to stay healthy while weeds die. All of it is fodder for the critics.
Here we're dealing with a technology revolution that allows scientists and life science companies to play God, to literally rearrange millions of years of evolution.
Jeremy Rifkin is the author of The Biotech Century and a strong opponent of biotechnology and genetically altered grass. One of his big worries? Pollen that could escape and crossbreed with wild grass.
What happens when you have wild grasses and wild weeds that don't grow during their normal growing season? Remember, our foraging birds, our insects, our microorganisms, our other animals rely on wild grasses that grow at a certain proportion every year for their habitats.
Scotts says it's carrying out intensive research, tightly controlled by federal regulators to make sure the new grass is safe. But crossbreeding, Scott says, is just not plausible.
To have gene flow to a weed is a biological impossibility. You've got a garden, you've got a vegetable garden, you've got cucumbers and tomato plants, and you don't see a hybrid between cucumber and tomato plants.
Then there are those who reject all lawns, calling them unnatural. They want to give native plants free rein. In Milwaukee this month, the Wild Ones, as they call themselves, held a tour of naturally landscaped yards.
The thing you have to understand about the typical suburban lawn is it doesn't belong here. To grow here and to look good, you have to water them, fertilize them, pesticide them, and use other elements of artificial life support.
Why do that, naturalists ask, when you can have this?
You look around this yard that we're standing in today, there's butterflies, there's birds chirping. It's an absolute paradise.
It may be paradise, but it's a tough place to play with the kids or have a barbecue. And that's probably why the lawn will endure. A source of pride, a status symbol, a money pit. And now, the latest battleground in the fight over genetic experimentation.